Good morning, day 198. Today it's raining. We got some much needed rain, and this week is going to cool off just a little bit in the 80s, which will be nice. There's not a whole lot of rain in the forecast, but our plants really needed a good rain. So we got that, so I don't have to go out and water today. That always makes me happy. So I think I'm going to try and hang up some more shelving today. It's a good day for that. I don't know how far I'll get, but I'm going to give it a go. These shelves are a little bit more complicated that I want to hang up now because I have to move more things. So it's going to be a process. It's probably going to take me a couple days, like everything else. But that's okay, as long as I get it done. That'll make me happy. So when I'm doing these projects, everything in the house is pretty much let go, and I can't work on two things at once. I never was good at multitasking, and from what I hear, it's not good for you anyway. So, and then I've got a problem with my leg lately. I don't know if it's from going up and down the ladder so much, but it's only on one side. It's really weird. But anyway, we carry on, do what we can. So I don't know what I'm going to cook today because I ate up all the leftovers, but I think I might have something in the freezer I can make. So that would be good. And my mom had a power outage yesterday. She called me. So I hope my food over there is okay. If not, that's going to certainly screw up my plans to cook down that freezer. But we'll have to wait and see. I have to call her today and see if the power came back on or what the status is. So the best laid plans of mice and men, right? Doesn't always happen the way you think it will. But that's life, and we need to adjust, and we need to do the best we can with what we have. All right, I will be back in a little while, and we'll see what's for breakfast. Day 198. Good morning. Still in my jammies. Cheers, coffee time. So, I didn't bother taking you to the fridge because I'm having the same thing for breakfast this morning that I had yesterday. I still have 4 rolls left and a couple slices of tomato and quite a bit of the avocado mash. So, I didn't think it was real exciting dragging the same things out of the refrigerator again. So I'm trying to decide what to have for dinner, and I'm trying to determine what I still have in my refrigerator that needs to be used up. So I have quite a lot of eggs yet, so I think I'm going to cook up some eggs for salad, because I do have a little bit of romaine left. And if I buy anything in the way of groceries this month, it'll be tomatoes and romaine lettuce. But before I do that, I want to totally use up what I have. So I also want to make some yogurt, but I need to eat down some of the yogurt that I have already. So for dinner, I have to make a decision on what I want around the things that I have that need to be cooked down. So anyway, this is going to be a very lean month. I'm really going to focus on trying to save some money. Not save, but, well, if I save it, fine. But I'm not talking about putting money in the bank. I'm talking about not spending money. And there's a big difference between the two, as you all know. So I'm glad I have the things that I already have, and that I have my own grocery store in my house is very helpful. So that's all I'm going to have today, is just the avocado mash and the tomato with the bagel. And so that'll be breakfast today, and maybe until all the rolls are gone. I still have a lot of cheese and eggs, so that's a good potential for breakfasts too. But I wanted to use up this tomato before it gets mushy and bad. So I just have 2 little slices left, and those are going for my breakfast. Okay, that's it, and I will be back in a little bit and we'll have a little chat. Okay, let's see what's for dinner. Day 198. All right, I have this one bun that I want to finish up. And I think I still have some, yes, Italian style cheese. And up here I have some Parmesan Romano cheese. Okay, now let's check the freezer. All right, let's see. I'm going to have some of these Impossible meatballs. And I am going to make a meatball sub. All right, I will meet you at the stove. Okay, I have this little bit of romaine left. I'm going to have a little bit of salad with my sandwich. And from my stash, I pulled out this garlic and herb pasta sauce. And I also have the Italian 3-cheese dressing. So I'm just going to make a very simple dinner here with a side salad. Okay, I bought these Impossible meatballs a while back when I bought the Impossible chicken, and I haven't had any of these yet. So these are frozen, and these are what they look like. I hope they're good. So I'm just going to make about, because I'm going to make this for another meal for tomorrow too. So I'm going to make about half the bag. Yeah, about half the bag. So that's about 7 meatballs. And I'm just going to heat these up in the microwave with some of the sauce. So I'll be back when I get that done. All right, well, I'd like to taste one of these meatballs without sauce. So I'm just going to try one plain and see what I think. They sure look like meat. Very good. Would I buy them again? Yes, I would. Now, all the Impossible meats and all the Beyond meats, all those vegetarian type meats are expensive. But I think if you portion the sizes out and not overeat and stretch it out to as many meals as you can, like I did with my meatloaf and things like that, I think it's doable. I think they're very good. All right. I'll be back once my bun is done toasting. All right, so I heated up the meatballs in the tomato sauce. And I want to add a little bit of Italian seasoning to this yet. So I'll put that on the top. But I toasted my bun here and put a little bit of cheese already on it. Now I'm going to add the meatballs and the sauce. This is going to be very tasty. And there's enough room on there for 3 meatballs, and I still have 3 meatballs left for another meal. All right, now I'm going to add some of this Parmesan and Romano to the meatball. Just because I like the flavor. And then I'm going to add some more of this shredded cheese to the top. Yes, I know you like cheese, but you can't have any right now. Alright, and then I'm just going to sprinkle that with a little bit of Italian seasoning. Alright, I'm going to return this to the oven for a few minutes and then it'll be ready to eat. Alright, well, while my sandwich is toasting, I'm going to add a little bit of this triple cheddar to my salad. And since I don't have a whole lot of greens left, I'm just going to finish this up. Now my daughter, I went to visit her today at her house, and she had actually, she said she had too much lettuce, and she gave me a small head of romaine, so I'll have some more romaine. But I'm out of tomatoes, I don't have cucumbers. I could add some carrots to this, but I'm hungry, I'm not going to. So I'm just going to eat it like this, and I'm just going to add a little bit of this Italian dressing to it and finish it up. Alright, I'll be back in a sec and we can plate this up. Okay, so here I have my sub, my salad. Now if I wanted to, I could add some carrot and celery sticks to this. I do have that, but this is going to be enough. So let's give this a taste. And I know it's going to be good. Now if you don't have a bun, you can do this on bread, you can do it on a hamburger bun, a hot dog bun. These were hoagie buns. So let me give this a taste. Very good. That's going to hit the spot. Okay, I'll be back in a little bit. Well, I'm going to eat my dinner. I'm going to pack this stuff up, And I'm planning on tomorrow just having some spaghetti, or maybe the day after. So I have some TVP here, textured vegetable protein, and I prefer a meat-like sauce rather than just a tomato sauce. So I put some TVP in here, and I added tomato sauce, and that's going to go in the refrigerator that way, and it's going to rehydrate the TVP because this is dry. So thinking ahead till tomorrow, that's what I'm doing. And I'm saving a little bit of the tomato sauce for, I have flatbread, so I want to make some flatbread pizza because I still have enough cheese. And I want to use up this can of spaghetti sauce so that it doesn't get wasted. So I'm trying to think of other meals that I could use with it. Another thing that you could make with this, if you want to make a sandwich, rather than using the meatballs, you can use chicken nuggets or faux chicken nuggets, whatever you eat. And then it would be sort of like a chicken parmesan. So lots of options. Now this is getting very thick. So I'll probably end up adding more spaghetti sauce to it. But just thinking ahead so I don't have to constantly be cooking big meals. I have things ready for quick meals, especially since I'm really busy with my kitchen now. Alright, so that's for tomorrow. Well, I'm back in my favorite chair. And I didn't accomplish too much today. I did go visit my daughter for a little while. She needed me to go pick up my grandson. So I picked him up, and then I stayed and had some coffee with her. And like I said, she gave me a head of romaine lettuce, so I don't have to buy that. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what my plans are for the next month or two. I'll see how long I can keep this going. And it's to get back to no low shopping, because with all the things that I've been doing, I really need to tighten the belt again, because now the economy just keeps getting worse and worse, and the prices, I mean, I go once a month, and so I really notice when prices increase. So it has just been like a freight train, a runaway freight train. And when they say inflation is only 11%, this is the worst inflation in the history of this country. So it's not 11%. It's way, way more than that. I mean, if you just do the math, in my calculations, it's at least 25%. I mean, with gas alone, it's pretty much tripled in what you pay. So, I mean, you can fool some of the people some of the time. How's that saying go? And, well, you know, you know how that saying goes. But, so do your research and don't believe everything they tell you. Use multiple sources, not just one, and really try and figure out what's going on with all this price increase. And I don't really want to go out and get a job with my arthritic, fibro issues. I don't even know if I could do that. So I couldn't be on my feet all day, that's for sure. And I couldn't sit all day, that's for sure too. So, you know, I don't know of too many jobs where you don't have to do one or the other. But I mean, on good days, I get a lot done. But when I have a bad day, I don't get anything done. So, and there's a lot of us out there in that same situation, especially if you're older. So I have a few tips here what I'm going to do to try to do the no-low spend. And one of the first things I'm going to do is, of course, with the food, I'm going to substitute one food for another. Like right now I don't have any tomatoes. Okay, I have tomato sauce, I have tomato paste, I have salsa. So if I really wanted tomatoes, I could substitute one of those items for the tomatoes. Now, I do plan on buying some tomatoes eventually, but today was a no-spend day. I didn't spend anything, I didn't go to the store, I didn't do an Amazon order. Today was a no-spend. So, another thing that I want to do, and I've talked about this before, and you've seen a couple of things that I've reinvented. I want to reinvent some of the things that I have into something else that I either find more useful or more attractive to me. So that's one of the things I'm going to do to keep from spending money on something new. I'm going back to tracking my spending, and I do have a video on that. I track my spending on just a regular cheap calendar, and whenever I spend something, whether it's on a bill or something at the store or something I bought on Amazon, I just write it into the day's block. So I try and get a calendar where the blocks are a little bigger, and I just keep track that way. Then at the end of the week, I can add everything up and see how much I spent. And then at the end of the month, it's easy to add up what I spent or didn't spend for the month. Now, some bills you just have to pay. You know, the electric bill, the water bill, your taxes, all those things are pretty much fixed. But there are a lot of things that aren't fixed. So what I want to do is just cut back a lot on those sorts of things. Now, I have a thing that I joined the Walmart, and I did this really more during the pandemic, but where I would have the grocery delivery. So you pay like, well, it was like $11, $12 a month, and then you get free delivery. But you have, let's say it's $12 a month, but you have that $12 a month, and let's say you do it once a week. So then you're pretty much required to leave a tip to the driver because, well, it's what you do. So you figure every time you do that, it's at least a $7 tip. So that's another $28 for a month, assuming there's 4 weeks in the month. So how much are you really saving? So it's really better to maybe once a month plan a trip to the store, even though you're using some gas. I mean, for me, I don't have to drive, 20, 30 miles to get to Walmart. My Walmart is like within 5 miles of where I live. So it's really much cheaper for me just to make a trip. Even if I go once a week, it's still cheaper. So I'm doing away with that. I had a Kindle Unlimited subscription to Prime, Amazon. I did away with that, and now I'm going to go through all my TV apps and get rid of the ones that I don't watch that often, because there's so much on a lot of these apps that I'm sure you can find something. And the nice thing about that is you can stop your subscription and then start it right up, and there's no penalty or anything for that. So I'm going to do that, and I bet you if I add everything up, I could probably save about $100 a month by just getting rid of some of these subscriptions that I really don't need and I don't use that often. Let's see. Another thing that I want to do while I'm doing this no-low spend is cut back on my driving. I don't drive a lot anyway, but I pretty much only drive when I have to, like if I have to have something at the store, or tomorrow I have to take my mom to the doctor's appointment, and on the weekend I will drive up to the boat. But other than that, I don't go out in my car every day. Gasoline is too expensive. And I try and keep my gas in my car before it gets to empty. I like to do it before it gets to half tank anyway. And sometimes as soon as I see the gas has gone down and it's cheaper, I'll fill up my tank again. So, but cutting back on the gasoline is something that I want to do. And I think if we all did that, they would all go, oh, well, the demand isn't so big, so we better drop the price a little bit. So you kind of have to play these games with these people because they are making a killing, literally. So that's something I plan to do. I plan to continue organizing and purging, and more organizing than the purging, because I have purged so much stuff that it's getting more difficult to find things that I no longer want or find useful. But what I am doing is I'm putting like with like, and then I'm putting things that, let's say I use something in this particular room. I want all those things in that room, and I'll make room in a cupboard or something like that, and maybe whatever's in that cupboard I'll move somewhere else. So I am doing that, and that seems to be going real well. I want to continue to do that. So I'm sort of taking inventory of what I have, and that includes food and supplies and clothes. You know, I like to put all my skirts together, my dresses together. They're not just willy-nilly hanging in the closet. They're all organized, and I try and keep it organized by color too, so that it's easy for me to get dressed if I want to wear blue today or green or whatever. I know where it is, and I can match my outfits easier, and that makes me not need to go out and buy more and shop more. So I'm doing that. When I do buy food, I'm only going to buy basic foods that I can make a lot of different dishes with. Like, for instance, today, the pasta sauce, I can make pizza with that. I can make spaghetti with that. Today I had a meatball sub. You can make a soup with it, a pasta fagioli. Is that right? Pasta fagioli? Or is it fagioli? Well, whatever. Pasta with beans. You can make a soup out of it. You can add it to all sorts of things. So that to me is something that's worth buying, because you can use it for multiple things. And you can add different spices to it. Even though it's a pasta sauce, you can add other spices and make it a different flavor for a different dish. So that's what I'm going to do with that. Let's see. Think about maybe, now I'm vegetarian, so I eat vegetarian all the time, but a lot of the faux meats or meat replacements or vegetarian meats are pretty expensive. They're right up there with the cost of animal products. So if you look online or on YouTube. There are a lot of creators out there, very creative people that show you how to make a lot of these things. It might not be exactly the same as the meat you buy, but it'll be a product that is tasty, and you can put whatever seasoning and spices in there that you want. So think about making your own vegetarian protein by using tofu. If you don't like tofu, then you know, you don't have to eat it just fried or whatever. You can make it into a vegetarian lunch meat type thing by adding other ingredients to it. So think about maybe going vegetarian a few days a week, and you don't even have to have make vegetarian meats. You know, there's beans and rice, that's a complete protein. A lot of vegetables have high protein content, like kale, the dark leafy greens have a lot of protein. There's eggs, you know, there's a lot of different choices that are cheaper than meat or the vegetarian meats. So those are some of the things that I'm going to do. Let me see, did I forget anything? Nope, that's it. Those are the things that I thought of that I'm going to do to try and not spend money and get caught up a little bit on my budget and try and stay ahead of this inflation at least a little bit, with not cutting all pleasures out. I don't want to do that. But, you know, in the way of pleasures, you can go out in your backyard, you know, spend time there, make some iced tea, grow yourself some mint. You don't even have to go buy Dollar Tree mint. You can plant fresh mint and make yourself tea from that. You can use some fruits and make yourself a fruit water. Cucumbers, they're going to be coming into season now. You can make a cucumber and lemon water, cucumber and lime water. If you like something sweet, then you can always add some sweetener or sugar or agave or honey, whatever your sweetener of choice is. So life doesn't have to be boring just because you're not out spending money and they're getting rich and we're getting very poor. So, all right, that's all I have for you today. I didn't do much in the way of cooking. Breakfast is probably going to be similar until I eat up what I have. So, all right. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. Thanks for watching.